Hello class, welcome to History 101, World History since 1500, or Global History since 1500. Um, any way you look at it, it's the history of the world since the year 1500. So, I'm John England, your instructor, and the captain of this vessel, if you will. Um, and I just wanted to create an announcement for me to introduce myself to you, introduce the course, and also go over the syllabus. Hopefully, clear up any questions you may have. I grew up here in the American West, and I'm sorry. Also, I should apologize for this informal setting. I know it's dark, but COVID has sort of, I'm sure it has for many of you also, thrown my life for a loop. I work at home now, which is great, except that I also work with four small children who are in online school as well. And so that makes for a very loud and rambunctious environment, which is a lot of fun, but also very unproductive. So I take what I can get, and I go outside at night when it's dark and quiet and do my work then. So again, I apologize, but I'm sure there will be plenty of other opportunities, uh, plenty of other videos in which you will see me more clearly and realize how good looking I am, I guess. Okay, so I'm trying to finish up my PhD here at Arizona State. I've been teaching for a number of years now and loved it all. Love working with students such as yourselves, and I love the material. I love history. I am currently living in northern Utah because that's where my research is. I'm writing a climate history of the region, which is a lot of fun. And there's really a lot of reasons why I'm doing that. And if you want to know them, feel free to reach out. But otherwise, I'm not gonna bore you with that. Anyway, like I said, I spend my time having fun with four adorable but rambunctious children. And when I'm not dealing with them, not working, I enjoy the outdoors mostly. I do a lot of hiking, running, try to stay fit, and I like sports, watching TV, and all the regular stuff. I love the West. I love being out here, and I love the history behind it. I love the West mostly just because I grew up here. It's a circumstance of geography. I'm fully aware that the rest of the world has amazing places to see and visit. One of the things that I like about the United States, though, is that we don't have while we don't have some of the ancient um, artifacts, cities, uh, castles, pyramids, things like that, we do have a lot of beautiful landscapes. Not to say that other countries don't, but you know, the wilderness here is sort of our uh, cultural icons. Like the big buttes in the John Wayne movies, or the mountains, or uh, Colorado River Rapids, um, the California beaches, Florida beaches, all these beautiful places. Um, there's cars driving by. I hope that's not too distracting. But they all have a human historical element to them, which humans have interacted with them, and these landscapes, these places create or help create our identity. And there's a history there that I think is really fascinating and fun to talk about. In terms of this class, if you're like me, you grew up with the sort of public school history narrative, which is that Columbus discovered America in 1492. A little while after that, the Pilgrims came, Plymouth Rock, colonials, Then the American Revolution happened, then slavery happened, Civil War solved that problem, and then World War I happened, World War II, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Industrial Revolution, maybe we'll talk a little bit about Great Depression. All these things happen, right? And that's pretty much the historical education of most people in the United States, I would say. But now we're talking about global history, and we're going to do it in a very different way. This is not going to be event-based, where we talk about this happened, this happened, this happened. There's, although that, there is some of that, obviously. You can't really talk about history without telling the story. But to me, there's two great connectors to everything that's happened in the world. First is the environment. I've already talked about that. Second is the economy. Capitalism or socialism, which is more, I guess, of a political philosophy, although obviously it has economic connotations. I think these two things, trade, dealing with the environment, are two great connectors in the global historical narrative, right? And we can't really study, or we can't really understand the history of a place or a person or event in a vacuum, right? And this is the value of global history. It gets rid of that vacuum. It gives us a chance to see how things came to be, how different places, people, and events interacted with each other to bring us to where we are today. And for that reason, global history is incredibly important. Okay, so much for that. I think there might be a stalker out in the woods. Someone's walking around. Anyway, on to the syllabus. Okay, hopefully you can see this. Now, I have a 15-minute limit on this, so we're going to zoom through, and if you have any questions, you can let me know. First of all, this is global history. We're going to be talking about as much of the world as we possibly can. You have a TA who's great. His name's Patrick Burt, one of the great TAs in the history of Arizona State, so consider yourself lucky. Learning outcomes. I've already kind of talked about this, but I want this course to create an awareness in all of you that history doesn't occur in a vacuum, right? This is going to give you a sort of a diverse lens in which you can examine history. You'll be able to identify different concepts, ideas, events, people, places, things, all of that sort of thing. But also, I hope that you're able to increase your ability to process different kinds of information. Nowadays we get bombarded with information, social media, 24-hour news cycle, all of that. Examining history gives us a way, gives us the tools we need to filter through all that information, to pick out what's important and what's necessary, and to throw the rest away. Not really throw it away, but at least take what's useful, if that helps. So I hope that that's something that you all get out of this class. Okay, big disclaimer. We're obviously in unprecedented times right now, uncharted waters, if you will. The pandemic has thrown everything for a loop, and we're in an election year to boot. So things are topsy-turvy. With that in mind, I will do my best to not make any changes to the syllabus, but inevitably something is going to come up, and I have to have some kind of flexibility. So with that, I will say that if I make any changes, it will always be for your benefit. Okay, so keep that in mind. Usually I'm pretty strict about late policy, that sort of thing. And I still am. Please, if you're going to turn in an assignment late, just let me know in it ahead of time. So Patrick and I are going to be flexible, and we ask also that you be patient and flexible with us as we deal with everything that's going on, because our lives are pretty hectic as well. All right, enough of that. This is obviously an online course. There's 6 modules. Each module opens on the Monday of each week, and everything, mostly everything, is due the following Monday. You will have discussion boards assigned every week. The discussion boards open on Monday, and you need to respond to my prompt every Thursday, and then respond to one of your classmates' prompts by the following Monday. There's more information on that in the actual prompts. Also, if you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to me. Quizzes, I debated opening the quizzes later in the week, just because I think that's more efficient, gives you more time to process the information and then take the quiz. But I think instead what we'll do is we'll just open the quizzes every Monday. So you have a week to take them. They'll open each Monday. They will be due the following Monday. So quiz 1 is already up, and it will be due a week from today, which I think is the 20th, maybe the 19th. I think it's the 19th. And anyway, look at your own calendar. We have 3 books. Let me see if I can get to that. Okay. First book is The Great Acceleration, which talks about a concept called the Anthropocene, and how the Anthropocene has changed our world in the last, I guess, 75 years, 80 years, since the end of World War II. Great book. I think you'll find it fascinating. Another one, Mike Davis. This talks about how natural disasters turn into economic disasters, needlessly in many cases. Talks about the horrors of colonialism. Really powerful book, very interesting. I think you'll get a lot out of it. Our main book for this course is by a guy named Robert Marks. He's a great writer. One of my favorite books of all time, The Origins of the Modern World. I hope you enjoy this one. It's a great way to look at history in a diverse and new way. Okay, so we have 6 modules. Each module has a discussion board and a quiz attached to it. Now, there are 6 of them. You are only required to do 5. 5, okay? So you essentially get a week off. But you don't have to take the same ones off, if that makes sense. So, like, you can miss a quiz one week and a discussion board in another week, if that makes sense. So, for example, if you can't take the quiz this week, that's fine. But you got to this discussion board, great. Then in week 4, you took the quiz, but not the discussion board, that's fine too. Now, there's a big caveat to this. If you do all 6, I will not give you credit for the 6th one. It's just too complicated for me to grade. Inevitably, somebody will ask, and they will say, can I do all 6 and then have my lowest score dropped? I'm sorry, but there's 100 of you, and that's just too intense for me and Patrick to deal with. So you're only required to do 5, and I will not grade a 6th. I'm sorry. So there's your points breakdown. Looks like there's a typo here. That should say 100. 5 discussion boards for 100 points, 5 quizzes for 100 points. There's a midterm essay worth 100 points, and then a final for 100 points. Grade scale, discussions, just mostly be respectful and follow the prompts. Quizzes, they're pretty basic and easy. So I hope you enjoy those. Then there's a final and a midterm. More information. You'll get more information on those. They're posted in each module. No extra credit. Just people take advantage. You know, they end up banking on it. I would say, like, they don't do the real work. And then at the end of the semester, they're hoping that there will be an extra credit opportunity. Okay, I'm out of time. I can only get 15 minutes. If you have any questions, please let me know. I am looking forward to this class. I hope you are too. I'm looking forward to working with you all. It's going to be great. And we'll talk to you soon.